It's the first time ever that I will speak at a graduation. And every time when I see people graduating, I always feel envious because I never had that opportunity. First of all, I would like first to just introduce myself. My name is Kwelepeta. I'm a proudly Malawian, passionate Malawian, and patriotic Malawian. I love Malawi so much that every day I eat, sleep, dream Malawi. That's how much I love this country. If you go on my page, Facebook, Kwelepeta, you will see that being manifested there. Some people even think that I'm crazy. Because I love Malawi because Malawi is a country that's got a lot of opportunities. I did not know about this because when I was young, I was not very good at school. I was one who was somebody who was not that much intelligent in school. In my classes, I was always last. I have a problem up to now of memorizing. It's very difficult for me to memorize things. Even when I get a new number, phone number, it takes me maybe 3 months for me to be able to memorize that number. That's how bad my memory is. I did very bad in school that I repeated my 4-4, and the second time I was repeating, I said, but this is not on. I need to pass. So I had to strategize for me to pass. I won't be able to explain everything because I've been given 20 minutes. Because if I start talking for you to unpack everything, I need 2 hours so that I can give you the information. But now, in the 20 minutes, I want as much as possible to inspire somebody. And that person must have the confidence to say, if Ted can do it, I also can do it. Right now, where I'm standing, I don't have a certificate. I don't have a degree. I don't have a diploma. I've never walked in the corridors of university. But I left Malawi being very angry with this country because it's a country that, to me, I felt does not favor people who are not educated. So I wanted to go somewhere where I was going to be appreciated. So I ended up in South Africa. So I stayed in South Africa, hustling, until I met my beautiful wife. She's a South African. We got married, and I started living in South Africa. I was living in South Africa now this time with papers. When I started working there, I said to myself, I need to go back to my country one day and be somebody. I need to prove that even though I never went to university, I can achieve something. So I was lucky because I came at the time when Mandela was still alive, and they started what they call the BEE, Black Economic Empowerment. They wanted each and every company to have black people in all layers of the organization. So they were inviting black people to get these opportunities. But the mentality of many people in South Africa was that they were not willing to go and work. And this opened doors for me, that I was able to get jobs in big companies. I worked for a company called Grand West Casino. If you go on Google, you can search Grand West Casino. I was employed there as a supervisor. I did very well in this company that every time they faced a challenge, they will ask, who can help us? And people used to mention my name, Ted can help us. I was always wanting to learn because my idea was, if I'm working for these companies, I need to learn how these organizations operate, what makes them tick, so that I can take this information one day and take it home. So in each and every company, I was learning. Now, Grand West Casino, I worked for Grand West Casino, I worked for Distel. Grand West Casino is the biggest gambling company in the whole of Africa. It's in the top 10 in the world. And I also worked for Distel. Distel is the biggest liquor producer in Africa and in the top 10 in the world. I also worked for Boshendal, which is the biggest wine estate in South Africa, and also the oldest wine estate in South Africa. So you can see I've got a very strong resume. I worked for big companies. But when I was there, my eyes were open. I needed to learn everything that the company does. In Grand West Casino, I learned some values, 5 values, which I still use them today. The company had values, they had a mission statement, And for me, I picked these values. Then the values were honesty, respect, customer care, passion, and recognition. I've stick with these passions, these values up to now. Even when I'm running my business, these are the values that I follow. I learned that you must be honest in everything that you're doing. And also you have to be honest with your customers. And this is going to take you very, very far. This company, when you are working in the corridors of the company, one day you meet the director, and the director will stop and say, "What is your name?" And you say, "My name is Ted." And you say, "Okay, can you narrate the mission statement of the company?" If you fail to narrate the mission statement, you get fired. And you ask you, what are the values for this company? You have to mention all the values for the company. I said to myself, this must be very important. Why is the company forcing us to memorize these things? They must be very important. So I stick to these values. Now, there's other things that I learned from Tistel. In Tistel, I was working as a sales rep, and my manager was a lady, her name was Debbie. She employed me and gave me an opportunity to operate in the CBD, which is the center of Cape Town. Even when she gave me the job, the owners of the company, they were very unhappy to say, how can you give a black man to run such a very, very big area, which is so big, and yet he's not so experienced as a sales rep. And Debbie said, no, I have so much passion, so confidence in this guy that he's going to be able to do it. The first day that I started, she took me to her office and she said, Ted, I've taken a risk to give you this job, but I know you can do it. The only advice I can give you is to treat your area as if it's your own business. So I said, oh, okay, I must treat my area as if it's my own business. She said, yes. So when I went home, I had to strategize and say, how can I be able to run my area as a business? So I said, first of all, I'm a sales rep. I need to learn how to sell. So I started buying books every month. I've got a suitcase full of books that I was buying every month to learn about sales. I bought books to learn about management. I bought books to learn about marketing. So while I was working for this company, I made sure that I must learn how to sell. So I must learn how to teach people even how to sell. So I was able to teach the waiters who were operating in the area, the restaurants that I was selling the wine, how to sell. And then after I finished that, I said to myself, I need to go back home and be able to start my own business. What kind of business am I going to start? So I went to Google and searched, what do the richest people in the world do? I found that most of them are in property. So I started doing homework to learn more about property. Then while I was in South Africa, I bought a machine which was used for making cement blocks. And I quit my job to come back home to Malawi to start a business. At the time, I had bought a house which I renovated and sold it. When I sold the house, I said, wow, I'm able to buy a house, renovate, and within a month I sell it. I think this is the right thing that I must be doing. So to cut the story short, I ended up introducing or marketing the use of cement blocks in Malawi. It was a very tough business to do, but eventually I succeeded. And then started my company called Gizmo Machines. So we manufacture cement block machines, which we have been selling all over Malawi. But while I was doing this, there were also some challenges that I was experiencing. For me to be able to train my workers, to be able to implement this knowledge that I came with, which was a big challenge. But we managed to get some funding with MHub and Grow Malawi. And with this funding, they gave us training. So at the training, they taught us how to solve challenges. And this is something that I would like you to learn, how to solve challenges. So in your life, when you finish, you are going to be facing some challenges as you go along with your life. And the one way of you being able to solve challenges, we learned that you have to embrace change. You see, I've paused there. We have to embrace change. This is one of the most difficult things with us Malawians, for us to accept change. Change is something that is more scary to us than anything else. And change is what is making us to fail to progress. Because if you don't embrace change, you will never be able to solve challenges. They taught us a few questions that we must be asking when we are facing challenges. They said, how can I change the way I do what I'm doing now so that I can achieve whatever I want to achieve? And I said, wow. So for you to be able to solve challenges, you need to embrace change. You need to change. So in everything that you're going to face, whether you finish here and you are going to look for a job and you can't get a job, you knock on this door, you can't get a job, you must know that the only way to solve that is to change. Now you're going to say, how can I change the way I look at my future so that I can be able to find something to do in my life? You will discover that the solution is not only in looking for a job. The solution can also be in you starting your own business. Whatever you've started here, you must know that this paper is not that much important. What is important is the skill that you've learned. If one day you wake up, you find that there was fire in your house and the certificate has been burnt, it shouldn't mean that it's the end for your life, because you know that the skill is in your head. The certificate is in your head. So, I need to finish maybe because of time. Okay. There's something that is very important in your life that sometimes you are taking it for granted. It's that thing on your lap, the phone. The cell phone is the most important equipment that will be able to make you to achieve most of the things that you want. You can search now on YouTube how to make a gun. By the end of today, you will be able to make a gun. All the machines that I'm making, remember, I never went to university. Even in South Africa, I never did anything in engineering. But when I came here and saw there was opportunities in the cement block industry, I said I need to learn how to make machines. So I went to my university, University of the Hard Knocks, YouTube, and I searched there how to make a cement block machine. And there was all the information that I needed. Right now, anything that I want, if people ask me, Ted, can you be able to make a plate compactor? A plate compactor is a machine that vibrates the ground when they're doing construction. I say yes. And I tell the person, give me a deposit, because the machine is going to cost you 1 million. Give me half down the deposit. They give me half down deposit. I go to my University of the Hard Knocks, YouTube, and search how to make a plate compactor. Some of you are studying Microsoft. Go and search there. Or graphic design. How to start a graphic design business. You'll see how much information is there. Yes. So never struggle. Today you are in the information age. Today, look at me. I employ people who have been to university and give them business, to give them a job. I've never been to university. Some of them, they get angry. How can he call himself an engineer? Because I call myself bush engineer. How can he call himself an engineer but he never went to university? It's because there's the University of Hard Knocks called YouTube. So with the knowledge that you have, go on YouTube and say, if you want to start a business, how can I be able to start a business in Microsoft or graphic design, whatever you've studied. Even when you struggle to get a job and you're going for interview. When I was in South Africa, when I used to go to interview, I used to go to the bookshop and buy books on how to attend interviews. I used to go on YouTube and say, how to attend an interview. Everything is there. Today, all the information that you need is now working with you in your lap. So, never struggle again from now onwards. Because if I can do it, you can also do it. Yes. I don't know if there's any questions. If you maybe want to ask me 2 or 3 questions that I can answer. No questions? Remember, after today, Now you are going to walk into the real world. Yeah? So it's up to you to make it or not make it. It's got nothing to do with anybody else. It is yourself. So if tomorrow you don't have a job, tomorrow you don't have a business, it's not your father, it's not the government, it's yourself. Okay, let me talk about opportunities in Malawi. How do I say that there's plenty of opportunities in Malawi? In South Africa, I wanted to start a business. I bought a truck and I wanted to be doing transport. For me to get somebody to hire me to say, I'll give you a business, it was difficult because all the businesses are taken by white people. But you come to Malawi, everything that people complain about is an opportunity. One day, people started complaining in the construction industry. The wheelbarrows are not strong. Every time you use a wheelbarrow, it's just 1 week, it's broken. I said to myself, how can I be the solution to that problem? I made a wheelbarrow and it's called Njanji wheelbarrow. In fact, it's the most expensive wheelbarrow in Malawi, but it sells like mandasi. So, the challenges that we have in Malawi are opportunities. Some people are sitting down and complaining. Somebody is sleeping at home and saying, how can I be a solution to that problem? So if you look at all the people who are honestly doing business in Malawi, they are solving problems. So this is something that I felt that I must share with you to say, okay, don't despair, because all the challenges that we see in Malawi, there are opportunities. The guys who are doing graphic designs, there's plenty of opportunities for you, for you to be able to get business. You just have got to go on YouTube, Hard Knocks University, and search on how you can come up with those ideas and implement it in Malawi. Thank you very much.
Let's know, how do you embrace failure, of which we believe that everyone is going to have to meet that along the way of success.
Okay. Failure. In my journey of business, I've failed so much, many times. But the first thing that I think for me that is very special is that I don't really worry very much about what people think. So when I want to do something, I manifest. From now onwards, start following me on Facebook, tkwelepeta, and you'll see whatever I want to do, I share it on Facebook. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I don't want to fail. Because if I fail, I know they will laugh at me. Huh? So I share it, and then it challenges me to achieve it. But when I fail, I don't break myself down. I sit down and say, I have failed, but what did I learn from my failure? Okay? When I started my machine, every time we sold the machine to the customer, there was always complaints. Every time we sold the machine, there was complaints. So I said, why is it that every time we make a machine, there's always complaints? Then I started going on University of YouTube to find out how do manufacturing companies achieve what they are doing in the manufacturing. Then I did my research and I found out in Japan, the big companies like Nissan, Toyota, they have to support a small business, like a workshop like mine. So some of the parts that they're putting in their vehicles are made in small little workshops like mine. Then I said, but Toyota is a big company. If they give this small workshop a lot of work, how does he manage to achieve that? Then I went there and I discovered they use jigs and templates. So I said, wow, so that's the solution. That's where my mistake is going, because I'm not using jigs and templates. Jigs and templates will make sure that there's consistency in what you're making. So if you want to produce something over and over and over and over, you need to make sure that you have templates and you have jigs that will guide you on all the time to make to produce whatever you want to produce. And another thing also, it minimizes training for the workers, because once they've learned how to use the jigs and templates, tomorrow if they leave, the next person, it's very easy for them to just continue going with the process. So for me, when I fail, I go back and sit down and say, where did I fail? And I learn from my mistakes. Many people, they don't want to fail. And when they fail, they don't want to learn from their failures. So it's okay to fail. It's okay to lose. But when that happens, you must go back and say, where did I go wrong? And then you learn from that so that you don't repeat the same mistakes. Because as they say, insanity is when you're doing the same thing over and over and expecting to get a different result. Misala, ndikubanga chitiro mwecho mobwereza ndikumaganiza kuti mwina mwake nthawi nayi chidzatipatsa result yosiyana. Then misala imeneyo. When you do something and you fail, you do it again, you fail, you must go back and say, no, there's something that I'm not doing all right. And remember, that is a challenge. Now, how are you going to solve it? You change. So always, when you fail, you must remember that you learn from it, but your answers are going to come from you embracing change.